Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you all have some coffee, some fruit, ready to go. We've got a great day today. We're going to teach you how to build a business that doesn't suck. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jim Hopkinson. I am formerly a marketing director at Condé Nast Digital, where I did the online marketing and social media strategy for Wired. But hopefully, like I did, many of you have these aspirations to leave your job, to reboot your career. And now I started my own business called Hopkinson Creative Media, which is kind of the umbrella for all the projects that I'm working on. And what that includes is kind of this new career development trends for the new economy that we're seeing. And what that includes is I have a blog and a podcast called The Hopkinson Report. I do a lot of teaching. I teach at NYU. I've spoken at American University, and I do a lot of writing for sites such as salary.com and payscale.com. And I've kind of made myself a salary negotiation expert. I've published a book called Salary Tutor and teach classes that help people get more money in their careers if they're not quite ready to go out on their own. But the last thing, the most important thing today is, along with Nate, I am the co-organizer and co-host of Reboot Workshop. Welcome. So you might be saying, well, what career trends are you seeing out there? And we're really seeing it across the board. So if you're a millennial, 54% of millennials are saying that they either want to start their own business or they already have. But it's also the older generation too, the boomerpreneurs. Money Magazine came out with a study that said half of today's entrepreneurs are 45 plus, and a lot of their businesses make more money and last longer than the young kids starting out. So we're seeing this spike in startups, 60% more startups in 2011 after decline. But the most important thing, and that's why you guys are here, is the mindset. It's not saying I'm going to be in a job I don't like. It's not saying I'm going to stay in this job for 10 years. It's embracing this instability and being able to recalibrate your career and say, I'm going to change on the fly. I'm going to follow a passion project. So what is Reboot? For those that aren't familiar, a couple of things. We're doing conferences like this. We want to do a conference every 3 months or so to get people together, to get some great speakers, to do some great workshops. We're going to have happy hours. We've had one already. We're sketching the next one in for May 24th. So sign up for our mailing list to be alerted for that if you haven't done that already. And if we're doing this every 3 months, we're like, well, the next one will be July. And it's hard enough to get people in here on a sunny day in April, like what's going to happen in July? So we've been brainstorming. What about Reboot Beach House? Maybe doing like a writer's retreat. And we have different topics in mind, such as social good or technology. And we said, what if we did something like a self-publishing workshop weekend where, how many people have like a book idea, right? A bunch of people are like, I wish I could write a book. And with the technology these days, we could bring in speakers that, how to craft your story. What if you have your book already written in Word? How do you convert that to Amazon Kindle? And then how do you self-publish your own if you don't want to go out and try to get a formal book deal? And so that'll be kind of the workshop part of it. But we also like having fun. So maybe there's some beach brainstorming, there's some clam bake collaboration, there's some hot tub networking. I don't know if we can get this crowd. Might have to limit the numbers a bit. So maybe the first 20 people that sign up. So if you're interested in something like this, like I say, we're working out the details. Come see me throughout the day, and we'll figure that out. And I'd like to say thanks to our sponsors and everyone. We have volunteers that have helped out, and all of our speakers and presenters, Emma, Loose Cubes, Goodnick, School, Pedestrian Consulting, Skillshare. All of these people have contributed in some way to help Reboot happen. A little bit of housekeeping. Again, everyone have fun. It's meant to be just a lighthearted, fun, engaging conference. If you haven't met the person next to you, make sure you do that before. While we're transitioning here, ask questions in the discussion groups. Some of you will have more experience in other areas, so share that expertise. On the technology side, obviously, everyone. Is that someone's cell phone going off? I thought it was like I timed that. So I was going to say, if you have to take a phone call, you can grab it outside. Here's the Wi-Fi login and password. And if you're on Twitter, #Reboot. Everyone should have an agenda. If you don't, you can grab one at the desk there. This one's a little bit tough to read, but there's basically 2 things that we're going to be doing today. The first are these Ignite-style presentations. So if you haven't seen these, you're in for a treat. The way it's going to work is, the purpose is to introduce you to these speakers so that you know, kind of get a little background before you go to the workshops. And the way they're set up, they're 5-minute presentations, so you won't be up, one person up there for 45 minutes. So 5-minute presentations, 20 slides, 15 seconds each, and the key is that the slides auto-advance every 15 seconds, whether the presenter is ready or not. So we've got some really professional presenters that are going to knock them dead, but if it kind of flows in between, give them a... So it's a pretty advanced and really fun way to kind of go. So you'll learn about each presenter during the Ignite presentations, and then we'll break out into the discussion groups, and you can kind of check off which ones you want to go to. And we've segmented 45 minutes each for these workshops, but halfway through we will ring a bell or something like that. Because of the unconference, we want it to make you feel that you don't have to be stuck in one workshop throughout the whole thing. If you're like, I really wanted to see that one. So we'll have that little alert halfway through. If you're having a good time, you're learning a lot in that one workshop, feel free to stay there. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to move on to the next one, you can kind of move around in between. And then if there's something you're not, if you're talking with one speaker and you really want more information and you want to talk later, there's an extra conference room, there's the couch area, you can even have like side sessions. But with the unconference format, there's a couple just basic ground rules for the unconference Zen. So first of all is the law of 2 feet. So if you're in one of the sessions and you're not learning so much or you're not contributing and it wasn't what you thought, use your 2 feet, move on to the next one, no problem. The second one, avoid debates and arguments. This isn't who's right or who's wrong or what's best or what's worst. And a good transition could be, if you're kind of disagreeing with someone, excuse me, I have another perspective on that. Here was what my experience was, and we can kind of flow things like that. And same thing, everyone's really passionate about what they do and has kind of a passion project, but try to avoid pitching or recruiting or marketing it overtly. And so if it gets too much into that, you can, I'm sorry for interrupting, excuse me, but maybe we can kind of get back on topic and focus on this. Sure, it won't be a problem. So to learn a little bit more about me, there's my website, my email address, and my Twitter handle. Are there any questions? All right, let's do this.